You know, it strikes me that sometimes, people say we talk $1 trillion is a lot of money. And it's like, oh my God, where are the cuts coming from? What does this mean? And it means cuts to Medicaid. It means cuts to Medicare. Like, people are going to feel this. And you dovetail that with what's happening with the tariffs. And it doesn't seem that any relief is actually coming anytime soon. And I was struck by what you said on the Capitol steps in rural areas. And we were talking off camera. And I'm like, what do people farm in Minnesota? Because, I'm from Nebraska. And you said they do everything. And the soybeans are a key part of it.
That's right.
I am thinking about if the farmers can't sell their soybeans, what does that mean for the people that they employ, not just those farmers? What does it mean for the restaurants? They can't import the...
Exactly.
What is really...
Grocery stores, small grocery stores.
What's the impact really going to be?
Anyone who works for, with, or around Donald Trump inevitably ends up getting betrayed by him. It's a pattern we've seen time and time again. People think they'll be the exception, that their loyalty will pay off, but Trump always puts himself first. That's a harsh reality Elon Musk just came to terms with as he distanced himself from the White House. And just as he stepped away, Trump delivered a brutal parting shot. A public betrayal that couldn't have come at a worse time for Musk. Let's break down exactly what happened. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button. It goes a long way and it really does mean a lot to me. Now, before we get into the announcement that Donald Trump just made about Elon Musk, first we gotta hear a little context on how things are going for Tesla's CEO.
Indeed, the entire Musk set of cuts use executive powers, his proverbial chainsaw, to try to slash temporary spending. None of that has involved going down to Congress and actually having some long-term change in the laws yet, maybe ever. And that's, again, bad news for folks if they want that stuff to last, because courts have blocked some of the Musk-related bids, whether it's trying to oust different rules or destroy USAID. Again, you could pass a law changing or eliminating USAID, but just trying to do it through this fiat means it's less effective in the long run. Musk has talked about saving $150 billion, lower than the earlier claims.
I think we can do at least $2 trillion.
I think we'll try for $2 trillion. I think that's like the best case outcome, but I do think that you kind of have to have some overage. I think if we try for $2 trillion, we've got a good shot at getting one. We can actually find $1 trillion in savings. That would be roughly 15% of the $7 trillion budget. I'm excited to announce that we anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion.
A lot of announcements, a lot of talk, a lot of meetings. This is someone who is in business and made it his business to buy a giant social media platform where he is very focused on messaging and marketing. But unlike most serious people in government who do cuts, and there are a lot of Republicans who have advocated for smaller government and actually proposed budgets to show you what it would look like over the long haul, Musk has basically given few details about this. The Times reports he gave no identifying details on the majority of them after they did an accounting. But there's the conflict of interest that he has been trying to hawk Teslas from his struggling company on the White House lawn, violating pledges that he and the president made about a conflict. And even that hasn't actually yet enriched him the way he might have hoped. To the contrary, financially, the biggest loser of money is Elon Musk out of everyone, because he's also the richest and maybe had the most to lose, but he's down over $122 billion as we approach this magical 100-day mark. Tomorrow, that means Elon Musk has been losing over $1 billion a day. From a market perspective, I guess his allies might wonder how much worse would he be doing if he didn't have all of these insider relationships and access and White House marketing events. But it's a lot of lost money. So this is the economic piece. It's not the only thing going on, but it's affected the largest number of people the quickest. And if Donald Trump had done the opposite, if the markets were up 9%, 10%, we'd be telling you that. It's just not the case. And that brings us to the other reckoning that we are seeing as we approach 100 days tomorrow, which is in a time where people are more upset about Trump's policies, trade war, and entire set of priorities, downing the markets, breaking campaign promises to lower prices that he made.
So, while it is true that Elon Musk enjoyed being drunk off the power that came along with calling himself the co-president, thinking he was the second most important person in the country, trying to cut Social Security, gutting Medicaid, stealing government contracts for his own benefit, all of those things rolled into one still does not make up for just how much money he has lost, how much money Tesla has lost with how unpopular he has become. This effort by Elon really has ultimately backfired on him in more ways than one. And not just because his own consumers can't stand him, his co-president can't anymore either. That much is clear with the announcement that Donald Trump mismade that is really going to affect Tesla. Trump aims to end policy that was the only reason Tesla is still profitable. Tesla has been dealing with crashing sales numbers worldwide, as must political views and roll with Doge. And Trump's administration have repelled many of the people who would otherwise be inclined to buy an electric vehicle. As Musk's political profile has grown, it has led to an increasingly partisan divide in Tesla's favorability ratings, and the company is facing competition as more EV manufacturers enter the market and improve their products. Industry reports in February showed that Tesla sales overall fell worldwide last year, even though overall EV sales were increasing. The high cost for many Tesla models is a limiting barrier for consumers, and the Cybertruck, which starts at a base price of about $80,000 up to more than $100,000 for many models, has been particularly plagued with safety concerns, quality complaints, and a series of embarrassing recalls. Trump's tariffs have walloped Tesla's stock price, with the shares taking more of a beating than most other tech stocks during the market bloodbath that followed the president's announcement. Tesla's Q1 earnings report was widely viewed as disastrous, with net income plummeting 71% and falling far below even the already gloomy analysts' predictions. But as bad as Trump's tariffs and Musk political misadventures have been for Tesla, it's the president's push to end the emissions regulations that allow the electric vehicle maker to claim and then sell for a hefty profit hundreds of millions of dollars of regulatory credits. Tesla's Q1 earnings report showed that it had a profit of $49 million. CNN reported the company managed to stay in the black thanks to selling $595 million of regulatory credits to other auto manufacturers. Without the regulatory credit sales, Tesla lost about $186 million trying to build and sell its product line. According to CNN, the Trump administration is targeting both federal emissions regulations and the stricter state standards in California, and 8 other states that are set to ban the sale of traditional internal combustion engines that are gasoline powered by 2035. If those regulations are eliminated, the hundreds of millions of dollars of credits that Tesla has been able to rack up every year go up in smoke too. Those credits have been a key factor in Tesla's survival from its early years to growing into the massive profit center that made Musk the world's richest man and helped fund his other ventures like SpaceX and the purchase of Twitter. The sale of regulatory credits kept Tesla afloat until the vehicles and solar energy products could be profitable. So on his way out the door, Donald Trump is robbing his once buddy and co-president of the most profitable part of his entire operation. That is what happens when you do business with Donald Trump. You get screwed. And it is a lesson that all of his supporters who voted for him, who are now enduring and are about to even worse feel the effects of Donald Trump's trade war, are learning as well. Navy Global Chart talked about that right here.
People who voted for them, I know a bunch of them voted for Donald Trump and me. They come up to me and tell me this, and they are not happy with what's going on because they don't like the chaos. The chaos is up. corruption is up, and yes, costs are up. Ask anyone in the egg aisle.
You know, it strikes me that sometimes, people say $1 trillion is a lot of money. And it's like, oh my God, where are the cuts coming from? What does this mean? And it means cuts to Medicaid. It means cuts to Medicare. Like, these people are going to feel this. And you dovetail that with what's happening with the tariffs. And it doesn't seem that any relief is actually coming anytime soon. And I was struck by what you said on the Capitol steps in rural areas. And we were talking off camera. And I'm like, what do people farm in Minnesota? Because I'm from Nebraska, and you said they do everything, and the soybeans are a key part of it.
That's right.
I am thinking about if the farmers can't sell their soybeans, what does that mean for the people that they employ, not just those farmers? What does it mean for the restaurants? They can't import the What is really
grocery stores, small grocery stores?
What's the impact really going to be?
Let's just look at this perfect storm that's happening right now. You already have grocery prices up in his first 100 days. You already have many of these Social Security. The very big concern of our seniors, they call in, no one's answering, they're closing down 47 offices. The budget, as you just pointed out, Simone, with Medicaid, there's no other way, the Congressional Budget Office said, to make these cuts except on the back of people who are in nursing homes. When you've got, in my state, half of the people in nursing homes are on Medicaid, even higher nationally. You look at that, and then you combine it with this economic assault. And this is going to hit rural Americans like you've never seen, because they tend to be older, they're farmers, they're living on smaller margins. And when you start messing around with their markets, 20% of what our farmers produce in the U.S. is exported. And when they start getting the retaliatory tariffs, or no one wants to buy their soybeans in China because they can buy them from Brazil very easily, you're going to devastate that farm economy. And what really bothers me as someone that cares about antitrust is not the big guys. Tim Cook, and glad that he saved Apple, but he can walk in there and get an exemption for Apple. Or you got these big investors that show up with the Treasury Secretary at a closed-door meeting with a bank and with investors. My small business woman of the year that runs Busy Baby out of southern Minnesota, check it out, little stuff for the high chairs. She didn't get invited to the White House or the investment banker thing at J.P. Morgan. She didn't get invited. So you have the people who are going to be the roadkill are the consumers. It's the people that don't have the safety net. It's the smallest businesses. It's the small farmers. And that's what you're already starting to see happen. Yes, it matters for the biggest stuff and the economy, but it's really going to hurt the small people first.
The small folks. And we're almost out of time, but I have to wonder, I'm concerned about the potential for nefarious activity around the elections in 26, not just in 2028, but 26 specifically, given what we are already seeing happen. You are a former prosecutor. Are you concerned about what the Republicans might try to do to ensure they win elections?
Of course, you've got a president there that has repeatedly denied the results of the election. He actually just recently said he was going to, Chris Krebs should be investigated, who is the guy who worked for him, who had the audacity to say that the elections were safe, just like his attorney general at the time, Bill Barr, did. So you've got that as the backdrop, and then you have the fact, as we've learned in the last few days, that they have decimated the leadership in the Civil Rights Division at the Justice Department, and that people are leaving, and you just won't have the will to enforce those laws. And I'm thinking not just on the actual voting, which I hope will hold because the states often control the mechanisms for voting, but you've got the enforcement of the voting laws. Even the Supreme Court in a 5-4 decision in 2023, this same Supreme Court voted against racial gerrymandering on a 5-4 vote. And that was a case that was supported by, not brought by, but supported by Civil Rights Division of the Justice Department. They bring these cases. That's their job, to make sure that the law is enforced. So, of course, this is a major concern when you look at who works in the Civil Rights Division and the kind of important work they have to do when it comes to election.
I hate to say I told you so. You probably told people so. VP Harris told people so. Tim Walz told people so. But we did. The tariffs were always going to screw consumers. We knew this. We warned you. And now here we are. are. But more important than just enjoying gloating on that just a little bit is making sure that we convince people to never elect another Republican again starting in 2026 and honestly starting in 2025 this year. There are plenty of elections happening this year. Let's make it happen. We're certainly going to be doing that on this show every single day. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, you drop a blue heart in the comments if you stuck around. And until next time, I'll see you soon.